Stacey, wonderful to have you here. Thanks for joining us. It's been a while since we've touched base.
It has.
I
Thank
think
you for
a
inviting me.
year since I've seen you in person,
Oh, what a
and a
year.
lot's happened, yeah?
What a year. Yeah, you could say that.
We're just talking about my travels, and I've been all over the place, all over the world. As you said, every other week I've been away. So every month this year I've been overseas, and it's not like I'm holidaying, but I'm,
Yeah.
I'm out fulfilling on a big vision. And, personally for myself, that's taken something and it's physically taxing, and I have to make sure that I stay well.
Yes.
And I've been observing your journey post being coached within the Simplr Health structure.
Yeah.
And it's really inspiring for me. And I'm thrilled to have you in this conversation, making it available for others, because I want to get down and dirty and
Oh,
sourceful about what has happened over the past year.
yeah.
And then if we go back to the beginning, and what were you frustrated with? What wasn't working? How the heck did you get started with us?
Oh,
And then I want to hear what you've learned that's been sustainable throughout your life. So that's kind of an insight as to how this
no,
conversation.
just that small kind of
I
conversation.
know, I know. And the intention is that we make this kind of information and inspiration available to people. So why don't you start by sharing a little bit about who you say you are in the world? And
Yes.
then I may agree with that. I may counter that with how I see who you are in the world.
Thank you. All right. Well, I consider myself a transformational coach, mentor, example. I really believe it's a buzzword, but I do believe in authenticity. There's a reason I'm mentioning that, because I was at a position and a place in my life where I knew that the woman that I could see in the mirror, that I was avoiding in the mirror, wasn't the truest reflection of myself. And I was getting really frustrated, yo-yo dieting, new fads, shiny object syndrome, and all of those things. And I went to some doctors, and I suffered from psoriasis and eczema really badly. And they said, unless you take steroids all the time and meds like this, you're kind of like, this is it. We can't really do anything for you. I've had it most of my life. And I remember sitting and just thinking, like, there has to be something else. There's something I know that I'm not understanding, but if I just had the information, I wanted a different perspective. And it was pure, was it accidental? It was pure synchronicity, I guess, for a better phrase, that you came into my life through a mutual connection.
Who was that? Remind me who that was.
That was Brody.
Oh
I
my
was
God, yes.
Yeah, Brody Lee.
Oh,
I was in
love Brady.
a
Yeah,
mentorship with him in the
right.
same kind of circle and mentorship and a mastermind. And there was something he said about you, and I then did a bit of stalking, and I was like, what is this Simplr Health? I was like, oh God, another health thing. And then I watched on YouTube, which is such a full circle moment for me. So thank you so much for inviting me on. I remember, I've got gooses as I say that, confirmation chills. I remember watching Chewing the Fat and thinking, wow, these people have had incredible results. It can't be that easy. And I was really skeptical, but there was a part of me saying, yeah, but what if it were true? What if it were true? And so I remember getting on a call with you, and then you kindly suggested that I speak to Trevor. I think because you were traveling, Kel surprise, you were traveling. So you said to get in contact with Trevor, and I did. Spoke with Trevor, and the kind of no BS, which is so me, really is. It's what I teach, no, I don't suffer fools gladly. And it was really refreshing to have this. You either want it or you don't. And I was like, wow, you either want to try it and trust us or just keep on thinking about it and all of that. So I was severely overweight, chronic fatigue, covered in eczema and psoriasis. Confidence was like non-existent, and having this dream of a type of woman that I wanted to be. And I just could not be further from that. And it was a real dark time, but I decided to go all in.
Wow, wow. So when you say you were severely overweight,
Yeah.
how much did you weigh?
Oh my goodness. I think it was close to, in English, it's like 20 stone or something, or maybe a little bit under that. But in the whole of it, just to kind of give a bit of a preface, I've lost about 100 pounds, which is 45, 47 kgs,
Yeah,
which is about 7.5 or 7-ish stone in my language, and that was done in about 6 months.
yeah. See, I love it. I love because the approach is, this is the view that I have. Yes, I'm a biochemist and molecular cell biologist and all that sort of stuff, right? That's just means I've got interesting stuff to talk about sometimes, right? For those that are interested. But really, I love making a difference to human beings and having the fullest expression of who you've always wanted yourself to be,
Oh,
who you've known yourself to be. And there's just these layers of fat that you've placed there
yep.
to protect you from whatever threat that life has been.
Yep.
Right. And that's how we pull back and we stop participating in life. And I love seeing, when we take people through the journey, and this is what I trained our Simplr Health coaches in, is the three core transformations that people must have. One is a breakthrough in participation.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to do that, you've got to first confront how much you've withdrawn from life. Even those that think they're playing a big game, it's like, this is what I always say. If I was running a seminar and I had Nelson Mandela and Mahatma Gandhi and Mother Teresa and Barack Obama, and if I had all these extraordinary people in front of me, here's what I would be saying to them. What, you think your job is done? No, there's always the next level. Imagine, right? What else? What else? What else? There's always got to be, you're always on the next mountain.
Yes.
And you're interested in the climb, in the words of the great Miley Cyrus, right? It's about the climb. So, and you're on a mountain that has no top. So people who are that they've arrived somewhere, I mean, they're the most boring people. And so if you can chip away everything, as like, when Michelangelo created David, he chipped away everything that wasn't David until David showed up.
Yes.
That's what we do, is you strip away, because every kilogram or stone of fat comes with a story. And every time you lose that kilogram, you have to let go of that story, that barrier, that constraint, whatever has been tethering you in your life. You've got to let go of, the trapeze artist. You got to let go of what you're hanging on to grab hold of higher things, greater things. So this is really, really awesome. So you're fat, and it's great that you can just say it like that.
Yeah.
And we'll get to what I see about that. And then the psoriasis and the eczema. So that's also all gone, right?
All gone.
I see
all
you
like
flipping your body on social media all the time. Like,
look,
go girl.
I swear on my life, everyone who's watching this, like, to be that woman, everyone knows what that means. I could not be prouder of myself. And it's testament to, like you said, the embodiment of myself, to show people that, people that have the audacity to do that, is you don't know what they've gone through to own that. It was almost 40 years of not wearing a bikini in public, hiding my body, always feeling ashamed of it, rather than really, truly, genuinely loving myself. And even now, I have tan scars because there was so much skin damage, because I've had, I had it all my life. So the skin never really healed in the patches. So I now have like kind of tiger marks, or leopard marks, so to speak. So, one would think, oh my God, you must be so embarrassed. But it's like, no, that was a story once. Like, I'm getting emotional. Like you said, that was once a story. And I decided to go into this saying, everything that I want is going to be on the other side of this. Just listen, stop trying to interfere, and do as you're told. Because I was really kind of like that inner, but I'll just have this, and I'll just do this, and it's like, follow what you need to follow and quit moaning about it. And it was like far out. Every time I'd have a wobble, it was reverting back to that. And you said, and this is why I truly do honor, particularly you, Dean, you turned around and said, you say you're all about integrity, but are you really having that level of integrity of self? And I thought, wow, because I'm doing this, I'm going to do it 100%. Like it's not even I'll do it 80 and like nobody will know, it'll be fine. It was, no, I'm really committing to this. And it's cost me relationships, friendships, because like you said, it's releasing the identity of the safety that I had created within myself, because I couldn't possibly be this tall, stand up straight, athletic, fit person in the sense of health and everything, because I didn't have the confidence to be stared at, because it was causing issues in my relationship at the time. So I just kind of kept piling it on so I didn't cause arguments about a tension that's not really even my fault. Do you know what I mean? But like you said, everyone has a story. That's just one version of my story. And so I decided, nah, I get to be this version of the woman that I see in my mind's eye. And I get to also change my life and habits because I wanted to be active. It wasn't like just this nice, I will say, yes, it was to understand, excuse me, my psoriasis and eczema and inflammation and all of that, of course. But I mean, Emma can attest, my personal Simplr Health coach, like Emma can attest, I wanted to look, can I swear? I wanted to look really hot in summer. Like I wanted the bikini body of my dreams to be able to say, and to walk with pride of self, to say, in all areas of my life, I have integrity. And that I can honestly say, put a lie detector test on me. There's no area of my life that I'm hiding from. And that is true chills. That is true freedom to me, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, just to be sourceful about the distinction integrity, because everyone kind of throws it around.
Yeah.
And it's integrity is not something you have, right?
Yes.
Okay. But who you are is that without integrity, nothing works.
Mm-hmm.
See, if you are that without integrity, nothing works, you're always on the hunt for where is there a lack of integrity, and you're ferreting it out. And it's the last place people look when something's not working. So when something's not working the way that you want it to work, there's always something else going on hidden from your view. Hence, a coaching structure makes a big difference. And you do that yourself, and you provide a different perspective for people. And why have a coach? Because they can see what you can't see about yourself. And it's no indictment of oneself if you can't see something. I mean, why should
see what you can't see?
You're in the middle of it all. You're in the middle of it all. So it's like it's great to have that outside view, but someone with that can help guide you through a particular pathway to get out of that sewage. And people standing in a big lake full of shit, you get used to the stench. And right, and what it takes is someone who's willing to stir that up around you where no one else is. Everyone else lets you get away with everything, and they're so afraid of upsetting you, and they want to keep the peace, and they don't want to, like you're some fragile human being. It's like, come on, you're bigger than you think in being. You're tougher than you know yourself to be. So let's call it for what it is. You're fat. How did you get this way? Right? And if you're overweight and you've got some form of autoimmune disease, so that was for you manifesting in your skin, psoriasis, eczema, they're
chronic
forms
fatigue. I could sleep all day without a worry. That is easily.
Yeah. So this is self-hatred, a withdrawal from life, self-rejection.
Yes.
And where this journey must start is discovering that it is possible to love yourself again.
Yeah.
Now, not when you've got what you think you need to be able to love yourself again. No, it's like granting yourself the opportunity to be in love. And those scars, I love it. I mean, those psoriasis scars, they're there to remind you, hey, don't go back there.
Yes. And that was exactly it. It was honoring myself in that moment, saying to Emma, I'm doing this. And I remember she asked me, the irony is not lost on me. She asked me to do the before photos. I went into apoplexy. I gave her some SH1T. I was just like, what's the point? I'm so glad she said, you'll thank me. And I was like, as if, I can't believe I'm doing this. I hate myself. And all this stuff came up. And once I did it, I said to myself, this is the last time. And this is honored, this is the last time I'm going to try again. I was like, no, I'm not telling that to myself. And to love myself in that moment of, we are never, ever doing this again. I'm over it. And having that level of truth within self of being like, I'm not letting myself off the hook of this. Come hell or high water, we are going through this because I will not, shall not. And so seeing those photos and that moment of love for self to say, I've got you, we've hired the support, we're going to do as we're told. And we're both going to shut up here. Not even like you're going to shut up as in inner self. It's like we, we're just going to do as we're told. and within the first week it was just coming off, and I just was like, here we go. And that was the thing as well. I needed quick results, which I do love about this. I needed quick results to keep me going. And I wouldn't say we necessarily plateaued much. It wasn't even that. It was more, even if we plateaued weight-wise, I will say my clothes were just dripping off me. And I was starting to go for a longer walk, just not because I thought I should. I just was like, I was starting to get energy back. So for people that know me, I wasn't running and stuff like that then at all. I did nothing other than pretty much just walk to the coffee shop and back. True story.
Yeah. It's amazing when people ask, how does this work? What do you do differently to
I
others?
sat on the fucking couch to the annoyance of my ex. He was like, you need to eat less, move more. I was like, I've never eaten so much in my life. Like the volume. And he was just like, how is this happening? Because you're not actually working out and your body is changing. Yes. So it was completely triggering activating all these other people that have a different eat less, move more. And it's like, I'm not moving at all. And it's like,
yeah, people, especially the addiction to hard work, like any result worthwhile must come with an enormous amount of hard work and suffering. And people love to share their suffering because suffering is what faster than anything gets us admiration. We admire those that are, and we give admiration to those who are suffering and those who let us know that they're suffering. And people want for admiration more than anything else, even more than love.
Wow.
And no one would want to admit that because it doesn't make them look good. Right? So, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. I was also going to say, Dean, that level of honesty as well. And when the either the version that you do see for yourself, but also know this, there's also people around that don't want you to change. So they're not going to say, do you really need that, that extra packet of crisps or family of 4 that you're eating for one on Uber Eats? They're not necessarily going to say anything because some people don't want you to change because you are the overweight, I'll get the shots, let's all just like bitch about life. Because I'm the comedian because I'm fat and I best be the funny one and the nice one, so and that was what I did work a lot with Emma about, it was a shift in identity of being this beautiful inside and out woman of my word life and saying, I don't I stuck to the protocol and I'm not sorry about it. And if that means that I'm a pain in the ass, then suck it up.
Well, you're a pain in the ass anyway. And 2/3 of the adult population are just what kind of a pain in the ass do you really want to be? You can be the kind where, say, 2/3 of the adult population in Australia, at least, similarly in many other developed countries, are at least overweight. Half of that cohort are obese. Now, the risk increase in developing, cancer, type 2 diabetes, cardiovascular disease, having a stroke, and dementia, osteoarthritis, that kind of pain, that's the leading cause for pain and disability. These are inevitabilities, and the risk of developing them, it's not even like, oh yeah, there's an increased probability. No, it's an inevitability. It's just a matter of when. And when you're obese, it's multiple indications that you then suffer from. And you're a pain in the backside to the medical system, to the rest of society, the taxpayers' dollars. It's like, what, just to satisfy your taste buds? Get out here where life really happens. So the first breakthrough is you got to participate.
Yeah.
You got to confront where you've withdrawn and you got to cause a breakthrough in participation. You start with your own health and you get on the court when it comes to your own health. The second one is you have to fucking grow up.
Yes.
I don't care what you think, what your opinion is, what you value. Listen, all of that has gotten you to where you're at right now. And you're telling me that it doesn't work. Now, people have to understand, this is not like I go around in life poking fat bellies and saying, what are you doing about that? Like, it's no judgment. No, we support people who come to us. You may notice we don't advertise. It's just Stacey loses 45 kilograms. There's a walking billboard. If she wants to share this and contribute to other people, we make ourselves available to fulfill your contribution. Right? By sharing this with others, they come to us and we make a difference. So, and you get to own that you contributed that to them. That's how you lock yourself in. You start transforming the environment now newly. So, and then they see you as that kind of a person. When the dirt in the street looks in your direction, they go, wow, that's a healthful person that I want to emulate. That's how you know that, that's how we know we got the job done. Okay.
Yeah.
So we put ourselves on the hook like that. If we're not producing the results and producing them in a way that leaves people an extraordinary experience such that they share it with others, then what the heck are we doing? We shouldn't be in business.
I honestly, and I know that I sound like a broken record to people, but it was because of people that were sharing it from you, like, from you guys, that I honestly, it was that, wow, I wonder if I could. And the amount of, oh, this makes me emotional, the amount of people who have sent me private messages saying, my body is your before body. And to give that glimmer of hope when you feel so disillusioned by everything, because it's like, don't eat this, do this, do this, and it's so conflicting. And you go on YouTube and you spend hours, and then before you know it, you're eating McDonald's, crying yourself to sleep, drinking yourself to oblivion, thinking like, well, I don't even know up from down, left or right. And so when someone does bravely and boldly, whether it's weight loss or I've reversed this or eczema's gone, it just so happens to me, my drive was aesthetics. Like, I was tired of not being the woman that I wanted to be in the mirror, because it was affecting my sexual life, like my sexual relations. It was affecting, how I show up in the world. And all of it was all interconnected with how I look, because deep down, I knew it wasn't the best. I wasn't presenting the best version of myself as a package. We're all selling. I love selling. Like, we're all selling ourselves. So let's not be misunderstood there, And so for me, little did I know that by sharing even my selfies and things like that, that people, and the before and afters, people are, it's real. Like, I'm not bullshitting you. That was me. Videos I've been posting that my mum took of me fully clothed, jumping into a pool because I just didn't ever want to show my body.
Well, I love it because it speaks powerfully to the third breakthrough that we stand for, and that is to discover for oneself that their body does not belong to them. Now, this is counter to the current narrative in the world right now. It's like, my body, my choice. And it's like, yeah and no. You're not the one that has to look at you every day. And I'm not saying that it's just aesthetics. I mean, I'm talking about not just the shape of your body. I'm like the glow that you exude, the how you present yourself, where you present yourself,
Yes.
on what stage you present yourself, with what intentions. Are you out here to cause a difference in the world, or are you stuck in here trying to survive your own internal dialogue? And so that discovery that your body doesn't belong to you, then who the heck does it belong to? Well, it belongs to the people who love you. It belongs to the communities that you're out to serve. It belongs to the commitments that you're out to fulfill. I mean, it's yours to be responsible for, but it doesn't belong to you. So when something doesn't belong to you and you've got like this high-end machine, like this high-tech, super expensive car that someone's lent to you, you're not going to put E10 petrol in it. You're going to service the car when it's due. You're going to drive it appropriately as well. And some of these cars need to be driven hard. You've got this body that now it's like calling for you. And you said it earlier. We told you, sit on the couch and just eat how we tell you to eat. And the weight fell off you. The inflammation reduced. The psoriasis disappeared. Health and vitality got restored, such that you got to the point where you're like, man, I just feel like I want to move more. Okay, great. Now start walking. Give your fat
to the coffee shop. It like really was. And and also for me, it really lifted the fog of what I was accepting in other areas of my life, should we just say, and how that was not conducive and I did not deserve. And but when I was down over here, I felt that was all I was worth and all this. And so if you can read between the lines here, and I was like, no, what am I putting up with this? Like, I wouldn't treat myself. I'm not treating myself this way. And so there was other areas that this also impacted. Like you said, the vitality and the smile came back, and the connections. And I'm not a people person BS. No, you just didn't feel good enough to talk because you hated yourself. And so I will say, as a testament to that as well, you said your life, like, what platform, how you're going to impact others, which is very strong to very close to my heart. I the whole of this year, a completely different life. The way, the social situations, where I live, who I connect with, who I'm meeting every day. The whole of where I live know who I am because I am out running or ocean swimming. I've joined groups. Like, I used to get the ick of like, how am I going to make friends? I remember at your Christmas party, like never feeling like I was like a fish out of water. Now, hello,
Yes.
and that to me is what like that to me is my gift back to society, is a woman that's smiling, loving herself, so that people speak to me when I'm on a bench, or if I'm running, old people are saying hello, or other people are admiring me and coming up to me at bars. Like, I can't, like, I don't even have to go on dating apps or anything like that. Like, it's a whole new life,
Well, it
truly.
was so perfect because the last time I did see you in person was that Christmas party. So
Yes.
this was the Simpler Health Christmas party. We had some of our clinical advisory team,
It's like
scientific
a year
advisory
ago.
team, my coaches, and you were there.
Yes.
And what was perfect was you went through the protocol, and it's kind of like it's the experience oftentimes is one of down, 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 open. and then and then you went back home,
Yes.
which was perfect. And I'll tell you why. You got plugged back into the source of your life,
Mm.
parents, right? And when people unplug from the source of their life or the source of their transformation, there's always a diminution of power. And you got plugged back in, and plugged back into what? The first people, the first human beings that ever related to you as a miracle.
Mm-hmm. And it was the first Christmas, Dean, that I had seen my grandma in about 8 years. And for her to see me, it was like, wow, like that, it inspired her to, do a little better. And she keeps messaging me. And so there's things like that. That means so much to me that, I'm taking the life that has been given and treating it with respect. And
Yeah.
that, we now have some wonderful news in the family. So I'll be an auntie, and for the first time, and I feel fit, I feel young, I feel healthy. Just turning 40, I feel, I do feel switched on and alive, and very, very grateful. For
Yeah,
sure.
well, that's the opportunity of being alive that we take for granted. And at some point along the way, uh, we stop being related to as a miracle, and we stop relating to ourselves as the miracle that we are. And
Mhm.
it's not to be conceited at all. It's really an acknowledgement of the genius of your own physiology, but you are not your body. And I think that's the key distinction, because I'm noticing you're sharing so freely with your guts hanging out. And by the way, that's brilliant, because that what that demonstrates is a couple of things. One, that's all hormonal, by the way, like the
Yeah.
shape that your body was, right? That it's a particular hormonal profile. And then during the protocol, you're able to rebalance all your hormones, your body corrected, right? Given the right environmental challenge, your
Yeah.
body adapted and complied with what you said, because there was a distinction. You are not your body. You have a body, just like you have a hand, but you are not your hand.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a distinction between you and your body, and then the you, that all powerful you, got to be responsible for this skin bag. And now when you share, I can tell you share these photos, the before and after. That before photo is not you. It's just how your body looked at one point. And that's why there's such a freedom you have in being able to share that, because you're not like, that's who I am. It's not you. It was just how the body was shaped at that
And
period of time.
I will say as well, with people, of knowing that once you say yes and you commit and you tell yourself, do as you're fucking told. But it's also, like you said, that detachment is also your freedom, because it's saying, yes, this is where I am at in this moment, but this is shifting, and I am going to give this body the right information to act accordingly now. Not your emotions to try and judge, like to try and tell your body what to do, or YouTube videos out the wazoo. This has been scientifically proven. You are watching this YouTube for a reason. It works. Stop telling yourself it doesn't. There's physical proof, right? So now actually educate your body, tell your cells what to do through the protocol. You get you out of it, and let let your body do what it is trained and knows what to do with the information that the protocol is. The end. It's really that easy. People that are dithering are making it complicated.
Yeah.
Get your head out of it. It's got nothing to do with your head.
And tell me, how old are you, Stacey?
I turned 40 this year. I'm now 40 years old. Yeah.
Happy 40th for when you turned 40.
May.
So this is the best time. I mean, any time, but you certainly want to handle your metabolic health before 45, especially for women.
Yeah.
So what happens is the hormones, that hormonal profile corrects. And there are many different weight loss strategies. Every single one of them ends up with a different hormonal profile and different body composition. So for example, you could lose weight just by eating less. And in fact, that's the only thing that drives weight loss, by the way, is just a lower caloric intake. No matter what anyone else says, it's all about that caloric deficit. Now, you can, if you just eat less and try and starve yourself, either through some psychological trauma or bariatric surgery, or a biochemical simulation of that using the GLP-1 agonists that people inject now, like Ozempic, all that's doing is causing you to eat less and you'll lose the weight. But a good portion of that weight lost is muscle mass. And that's the primary calorie burner. So what we did with you is we retrained your physiology to preferentially burn fat. Now, why there was no exercise, people are asking, how do you do that with no exercise? Is because we bring although the volume of food is quite substantial, the total caloric intake is quite low. And we made sure that you ingested an adequate amount of high biological value protein throughout the day. Yeah. And we managed your micronutrients and electrolytes. Everything was just on point.
I can't believe a six-pack was appearing, Dean, and I wasn't doing any sit-up chills. I wasn't doing any sit-ups. I was like, oh, there's a six-pack. And you're like, yeah, well, there's always, everyone's got a six-pack underneath all the fat.
We maintain your basal metabolic rate, which is predominantly driven by your total muscle mass. So therefore your muscle mass remained the same.
It did.
And your fat percentage just decreased like that.
I honestly, like I said, everyone, I was a skeptic. I was like, and even my ex at the time was like, oh yeah, right, yeah. But the scales didn't lie. Like it was, and the muscle, the showing, and even now on my thighs, and like this girl's got a great ass, and I haven't been doing I wasn't doing any squats or anything at the time. It really was, it was incredible. And I hope that this is inspiring people to, get your head out of it and trust yourself enough to know there is a solution. Like fucking do it. Just JFDI it.
Tell me, what's the vision? What's the future you're living into now?
Well, for me, I'm really passionate in the mindset, and going into it, you have to approach it differently, and not let yourself off the hook. It is like a cast iron decision. And that's what I found has worked really well with me, because even some of my friends who have been interested, let's just say, going, how did you stick to it? Like how even a year later I've sustained it. It's because I loved myself enough to go into it. I chose myself, and I decided that the mindset required was and going through it, and even a year after, is a becoming, like who you say, like an identity. And so for me, I'm really thrilled to be sharing that more with people, about how you can really preface success and the results that you want by doing as you're told, with people that are telling you how to do it, but also you yourself are not this victim in it. Like you yourself are going to be the one that when no one's watching, are you really sticking to it? Because it's that piece that once you know something about yourself, which I teach, you cannot ever go back, ever. There's no way. Even now, I love my pizzas, but there's no way I'm going back. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Because I've become a different person, not through the results, but through the being first, is my passion.
Yeah. And what do you provide for people? Because you've got some, commitment to empowering and enabling people to be the biggest version of themselves. And
totally
share about that. Tell us about that.
So thanks, Dean. So I do live streams and I share vulnerably, it's not all unicorns and rainbows. I could tell you the God honest truth of my truth. But so I do sessions, one-on-one sessions. The first thing is, people, if they're interested, send me a message. You have to be the first person to move. Like, this isn't me chasing you to your potential. You've got greatness within you. It's like, you have to decide that you're ready for it. And so I am quite different in that. If you watch any of my films or my documentary or whatever, I'm a person that's like, you've got to decide that you want the thing first, and then we can go to town and like unravel all the reasons why not. But it's not all like, let's sing Kumbaya and process, how do you feel about that? It's really getting to the bare bones of, you say you want to be that person, do that thing, experience that thing. Right. So why aren't you then? Like, I'm not your best friend that's like, doesn't want to hurt your feelings, but I'm also a person that has the compassion and empathy to be like, I know, because I was there. So I'm not asking you something I haven't asked myself. And so that's how I work slightly differently. So I'm really focusing, yes, a little bit on my transformation of physical transformation, because I know there's a lot of people watching me about that. But on the whole, it's the life that you want is a decision. It's a choice. It's a continuation and devotion.
Yes. Well, I love that you were hungry for that life and that body. And I tell the story of the master and the students badgering the master, like, teach me about enlightenment, teach me about enlightenment. And the master doesn't say anything. And then they come across this barrel full of water, and the master looks in like this, and the student's like, what is he looking at? And he looks in, the master grabs him by the back of the head and just slams his head under the water and holds it there. A minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes pass, right? Poor student's about to drown. All of a sudden he pulls him out of the water, and the student gasps for that breath of air. And he said, when you want enlightenment, like you wanted that breath.
Oh, chills. Yes.
And you were like that, so
Yeah.
there's got to be a burning of the bridges, which you're willing to do.
Yeah.
Right. You're really willing to do. I acknowledge you for that. I acknowledge you for the courage. Mostly, I thank and love you for the trust that you placed in us. It makes a difference to us that we get to contribute to people like you, and our target market really is big people with big lives, and we love making a difference to those who make a difference. So anyone out there who wants someone like a champion like Stacey on your side, please reach out to her, find out what might be possible, let her contribute, and anything I can contribute to you ongoingly, Stacey, any of your clients that we might be able to support you with on the more technical side, more medical, scientific side of things, we're always here to support those who are out there trying to impact the world. So really thank you for your time on this call, and hope we can do it again, maybe in another year's time.
Thank you. Thank you to everyone at Simplr Health and you, Dean. I love you implicitly.